What is this? It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account.
After a local woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any.
Refusing to allow me. Why are you refusing to allow me to withdraw money out of my bank? I've asked for a £5,000 withdrawal. Why are you refusing to give me my money?
A cashless society is quickly approaching, and our social credit scores right around the corner as well. We've also got to talk about central bank digital currencies, because say goodbye to your privacy, because that's exactly what's going to happen when CBDCs are implemented. The most hilarious thing is, in places like Canada, they recently came out in the news and said, oh yeah, the Bank of Canada, they're not looking into a central bank digital currency anymore. And then just a couple of weeks ago, oh, there's a new paper about how a central bank digital currency could be used. So once again, it just shows the hypocrisy of these Western countries. And I want to get into what is happening in the banking sector with cash right now. And it's something that's not only happening in Canada, it's happening in the UK and also Australia, which were countries which were scenes of draconian measures during the pandemic.
Howard Springs near Darwin is held up as the gold standard of quarantine. Separate cabins, on-site testing, catering, and so far, no known breaches.
And now you're seeing very interesting things happening at banks. So this is the one that happened in Canada. We've already been through this, but just to refresh your memory, take a listen to this.
What is this? It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account. You said that what's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the day. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah, not today.
Why not today?
Today I would need the extra.
So there you go. That person is being denied a $3,000 withdrawal. It's under $10,000, and they're just saying, no, you can have it any other way, but cash, you're not having that. And it's very interesting that this is happening, because when cash is restricted, that then paves the way for a central bank digital currency. And it's not just happening in Canada. Just take a listen to this as well.
Outrage in Queensland tonight after a local woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any. Taryn Compton wanted to grab some notes to pay a tradie, but when she got to the ANZ ATM, she realised she'd forgotten her EFTPOS card. When she asked the teller for the money instead, she was told the bank doesn't carry cash.
So, I mean, that could be becoming a future thing as well. You're already seeing in the UK limits on deposits of cash and also limits on withdrawals of cash. So it's becoming very obvious that this is happening not just in Canada, not just in the UK, but in other Western countries as well. So you have to ask the question, well, if this is a global thing that's happening, who is pushing for this? And it has to be organizations like the World Economic Forum, which have already previously discussed things like this and how they could also be linked to a climate social credit scoring type model. Take a listen to this.
We're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Now, how dystopian does that really sound? But once again, take a listen to this. In England, another person denied their cash.
Refusing to allow me. Why are you refusing to allow me to withdraw money out of my bank? I've asked for a £5,000 withdrawal. Why are you refusing to give me my money? Please stop recording. No. I'm sorry, but I'm asking you why.
And once again, this person isn't asking for £10,000. They're not asking for $20,000. They're asking for £5,000. And that is just crazy when these low amounts, relatively low amounts, are being denied. I mean, it is quite normal for people to go and buy a car with that much cash. Again, the banks are just putting more restrictions on people withdrawing cash. And that is happening for a reason. The reason is they don't want people withdrawing cash, because if it paves the way for a central bank digital currency for them not to issue so much cash, then that is what they're going to do. And cash is also a constraint on the banking system. What people don't realize is when you put your money in the bank, it becomes a liability of the bank. So that means essentially you've handed that money over. You might think that that money is sat in a bank account, which it might be when you go in and log into your online banking, but the reality is that that money isn't really there. It's been lent out to somebody else, and especially when it's all digital, it becomes very easy to move stuff around, and that's how banks can use so much insane amounts of leverage, is because of the way the banking system works. And chartered banks and financial institutions also have the ability to create money through credit, and that is how most forms of money actually come into existence. So most of the money coming into existence anyway is digital, so a move towards a central bank digital currency could definitely be coming down the pipe, especially with papers like the recently one that was produced by the Bank of Canada. And I think the reason why Canada will become the proving ground for this is because they have a bankster in charge. I mean, people were that stupid to actually vote in a bankster who was pro CBDCs. Take a listen to Mark Carney's speech here.
Of payments that will soon be swept away by a digital distributed future. With the wisdom born from such sad experience, most countries have now settled on centralized public fiat money.
And it's not just that speech. Mark Carney has written many different papers which actually outline why central bank digital currencies would be a good thing. So now you've got a central banker in charge who could work with the central bank to really get this going. And if that happens, that means the whole privacy of the banking segment is at stake anyway. And we've already seen that Canada doesn't really have any banking privacy anyway, as you saw what happened with the Freedom Convoy. Take a listen to this clip.
If your truck is being used in these protests, your corporate accounts will be frozen. The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. The consequences are real, and they will bite.
The reason why this clip is so important is because it shows that basically people were having their bank accounts frozen for as little as $50 that they donated to a protest that was actually deemed legal in the future. So again, it just shows that these tyrannical authoritarian governments can get too much power, especially when they're able to command supply of a central bank digital currency. And the reason why they could do that is because of emergency measures that they could enact. And Mark Carney has even been caught saying that he would happily use emergency measures.
And something that my government is going to do is to use all of the powers of the federal government, including the emergency powers of the federal government, to accelerate the major projects that we need in order to build this economy and take on the Americans.
So once again, it becomes glaringly obvious the dystopian future that is awaiting the West right now. And just in case you're completely asleep here, just think back to what happened in the pandemic. Every single province in Canada had some type of medicine mandate, some type of medicine passport, some type of medicine scoring system. Where essentially people who took the medicine were allowed more freedoms than those who weren't. So yeah, you can sit there and say, I'm in Alberta, or I'll be just fine. But the reality is, people in Alberta, they were under the same because it's under one same umbrella of the tyrannical Canadian government that maintains power, and they're able to shut off funds to individual provinces if they so choose, which allows them incredible amounts of power, which we saw was utilized during the pandemic. So that means Canadians are already accustomed to social credit scoring type systems. But what if instead of that system was about the medicine and it was about climate change? Because we all know know that that is a policy of the left and something that the left has been pushing massively before. I mean, how long is it before there's too many wildfires in Alberta and BC and they declare some type of special emergency that people now need to start using these climate scores in order to travel? I mean, it can get to the point where the government is issuing money through a central bank digital currency and they dictate the terms on how that money is spent. But the risks with a central bank digital currency are absolutely crazy, and that's what people don't understand. You're giving a massive amount of power that a government could potentially use in the future. It means that the Bank of Canada, essentially the government through the Bank of Canada, could dictate the terms of payment in a crisis or emergency type scenario, or they could just do that anyway. It basically means that money could expire. Money could only be used for certain types of transactions. It means that money spent on certain things could be taxed more, like things that pollute the environment, because you can definitely see how there are massive advantages for people who are pro-central planning and authoritarianism. And that is exactly the way Canada has been heading for the past 4 or 5 years.
This notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And it's just that people don't realize it. They haven't woken up. Every single province is at risk here. And it's not just Canada. It's also countries like the UK. It's also countries like Australia. The UK had some of the most draconian measures during the pandemic. And also Australia had near concentration camps during the pandemic.
Nice handy location for the airport. And I guess this will be your new home if you're not taking some bad poison. This is Australia. Look, it's double fenced.
So, I mean, that just gives you a glimpse and a window into the future of how ruthless governments can be when they seize power during a crisis. And the only question that you really have to ask yourself now is, when is the next crisis coming? Because that will be the next crisis that they use to get more power. Just as Klaus Schwab himself says, seize the crisis. And that is exactly what these authoritarian central planners have been taught to do. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend that you check out this video playlist here about videos that are similar to this one. And also, if you enjoyed this video and want to help out supporting this channel, then please pick up ExpressVPN. It's the VPN that I use all the time, and it's the fastest VPN affiliate partners of this channel. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.